Hello, friends. It's Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, July 22nd, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. We have quite a bit to get to today. Open treason by Congress. That's the biggest story right now. Oh, we're bombing Iran. Should we just change the show to we're bombing Iran? You know what I mean? Every day we're bombing Iran. Right before we went on, I don't know, like an hour before we went on, U.S. Central Command announced we're bombing Iran. So disgusting. On what day are we on? Day 144 of the Iran war. U.S. soldiers came home dead in the coffins. We'll cover that tragedy. It's all unnecessary. We should not even be in this war. Trump needs to be impeached, man. Does it even make a difference with this Congress passing the Section 219 of the NDAA, essentially merging our military with Aardvark land military? Pretty outrageous stuff, man. Pretty outrageous. I'm going to cover that a little bit, the ins and outs. It's just going to keep escalating with Iran. Iran now says what their foreign minister says, eye for an eye. Eye for an eye. Amazing. Trump says open the gates of hell on Iran. He's threatening war crimes again. Targeting civilian infrastructure. It's horrific. Truly horrific. We have a little bit of Epstein news, a bunch of economic news, some geopolitical news. We got Russian news. Strait of Hormuz, Lebanon and Gaza demolition program and genocides there continue. And sounds like satire or something made up. Ynet reports Aardvark land digs crocodile moats around prison wing holding October 7th Hamas terrorists. They're building a moat around the prison and putting crocodiles in it. All of that and much more on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I see a few people coming online here now. Shout out there in the chat to Ruckus, Terry. Terry signing in from the Philippines. Good morning, Terry. And Mac on the YouTube. And shout out to Strong on the Rumble. Let's see, what does Strong say? Tesla missed. They missed their earnings by over 50%. Terrible miss. Tesla down over $20 right now. Fake X hit 114. Yeah. And what about that? They're doing Enron accounting fraud. I guess it's legal now, so just fraud's legal. We're in the golden age of fraud. Amazing, man. Amazing. Yeah, I did see that about SpaceX. That was actually in my news, Strong. The SpaceX closed at 115.26. Anyway, we'll get to all that in the economic section. Let's get to on this day in history. Let's remember this week on our satanic dark occultist calendar, July 20th through the 26th, they're carrying out rituals leading up to the grand climax on July 27th So all this week, they're carrying out abduction rituals, ceremonial preparation, and holding of sacrificial victims for the grand climax. Be aware that's going on this week. All right, on this day in history, we actually didn't have that many today, so we'll get right into the news here pretty quickly for you. On this day of July 22nd, we go back to the year 1306. 1306, King Philip the Fair, it's a fair guy, they named him the Fair, orders expulsion of aardvarks from France on this day, 1306. 1864, on this day we saw the Battle of Atlanta in the U.S. Civil War. Battle of Atlanta, General Sherman's Union side defeats Confederate troops under General Hood with 8,449 Confederate and 3,641 Union casualties. Tragically enough, on this day, the Battle of Atlanta, 1864. 1933, on this day in 1933, we saw Willie Post complete the first solo flight around the world. It took him 7 days and 19 hours. The very next year, on this day in 1934, FBI guns down John Dillinger. I know. It's upsetting for me too. Outside Chicago's Biograph Theater, public enemy number one at the time, John Dillinger, is mortally wounded by the feds, the FBI. What assholes, huh? Okay, continuing here in 1946 on this day, Meacham begins Zionist military group Irgun bombs the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, the UK administrative headquarters for Palestine, killing 91 people of various nationalities and injuring another 46. See, it's those damn Hamas, I'm telling you. On this day, 1960, Cuba nationalizes all U.S.-owned sugar factories. It's time to invade and take our sugar factories back, right? Sure it is. They're going to do it. What are they talking about? Malay? Talking about, oh, yeah, well, maybe we're going to go and attack them. We'll just attack anybody. What the hell? Truly amazing here now. On this day in 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer confesses to killing 17 men in 1978. And the very next year, 1992, on this day, Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar escapes prison. And yeah, that's all we got on this day. Do we have any civil liberties? Just one. On this day in our civil liberties history, in 1984, arrest warrant issued for Attorney General Ed Meese for jaywalking. Really? A warrant for the arrest of Attorney General Ed Meese was issued in California on this day because he never paid a $10 fine for jaywalking in 1980. The total fine now amounted to $130.50. Meese's brother George, head of the California DMV, said he would pay the fine for his brother. The matter would be trivial for most Americans, but Meese and President Ronald Reagan were loud advocates of law and order. Yeah, they're full shit, just like all these criminals in the government, screaming democracy, law and order, all this bullshit. They break the law every freaking second of every day. They don't give a damn about law and order. Give me a break. The government's a organized crime syndicate. Here, they sold us out, man. They just sold, our Congress just sold us out to Aardvark land, officially merging up with them. Still has to go through the Senate, and I'm sure King of Aardvarks, Trump, will sign it. So the NDAA with Section 219 passed earlier today. Here's our segue to the news. It's just beyond the pale of disgusting.
On this vote, the yeas are 216, the nays are 212. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
They're cheering. They're selling out our sovereignty. The House has passed the $1.1 trillion. That should piss us off as well. National Defense Authorization Act, in a vote of 216 traitors to 212, with 6 Democrats voting yes and 7 Republicans voting no. It includes Section 219, which integrates U.S. military intelligence and the defense industrial base with Aardvark land. So I'm glad that that's why we have a country. You know what I mean? The bill makes U.S. military support for Aardvark land easier and more institutionalized. It creates a Pentagon official tasked with accelerating U.S. Aardvark land military technology cooperation. I don't know what could go wrong there, including joint R&D, testing, co-production, data sharing, and moving jointly developed technology into procurement separately. It extends through 2029, and existing authority allowing the U.S. to transfer weapons already stored in its war reserve stockpile in Aardvark land. The authority can permit transfers without Congress voting on each shipment, with Congress only receiving notification under the underlying law. Wow. Talk about selling this out, man. I guess we're all converted to Aardvarks now. The golden age. MTG says total betrayal. I can't argue with her. Total betrayal. The House of Representatives passed the NDAA. Yeah. Yeah. Wowzers. Wowzers. Trump says, with communism, everything turns to shit. Well, with Trump, everything turns to shit.
America is back. It's stronger than ever before. And I'm telling you, it's only going one way. It's going up. As long as we keep our current thinking, our current system, it's going up. If you go the other way, nothing ever succeeds. I made the statement once, with communism, everything turns to shit. Okay? It's true.
Have you seen our country, bro? We just merged with the Aardvark land. Here's Trump earlier today on Iran receiving dead American bodies. You can't, it's hard to hear that reporter. They're asking him about if Americans are against the war.
Americans aren't against the war. A poll just came out. Americans don't want high gasoline prices, but they're not against the war.
Americans are not against the war. We don't want high gasoline prices. What? This is why we don't want the damn war, because they're bringing home Americans in freaking boxes, man. There they are. The dignified transfer, as it's called. It's just disgusting. It's truly disgusting. We're stacking American bodies now, bro. Here they are, the most recent 4 fallen U.S. soldiers. They added her, right? We had these 3 guys, or 2 gentlemen and a female, and they added this other female. Oh, man. So the White House says, today we honor 4 American heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan, Sergeant Michael Swinton, Sergeant Angel Rappersad, and Private Isabel Gonzalez. May God hold them in his eternal embrace and comfort their grieving families. And may God forever bless the United States of America. In the war now. In the war now. End it. Oh, it's only going to escalate. We're hearing today now. Let's show it. They even show this on TV. I don't know. I don't watch TV, but if we had a real country, this would be front page news of every newspaper and blasting all over every newscast, freaking 24 hours a day. We have a faking gay country, corrupt beyond imagination, an evil country. No audio on this. It's just real windy anyway. You know what I mean? So no audio there, but yeah, this is what we get. This is the wages of war. Dead Americans. Oh, it's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse. Truly disgusting. Why do they call it dignified? What's dignified about dying in a legal foreign war of aggression for Aardvark land, essentially? Like, there's nothing dignified about that, honestly. Let's be honest. And no disrespect at all to the dead soldiers, but there really is no dignity in the way they died here now. It's truly disgusting what our government is doing. Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll, put this out, said, to the families of the soldiers we lost, your loved ones answered our nation's call with courage and gave the last full measure in its defense. They weren't defending this country. The Army holds you in our prayers today and in every day to come. Trump needs to be impeached, like now. Obviously, that's not going to happen with the passage of the NDAA there. We're stacking bodies. Iran's stacking bodies. We need peace. Iran's Ministry of Health says the death toll from U.S. airstrikes since June 6th has risen to 53 dead Iranians, with 592 Iranians injured. Among those killed were 6 women, 3 children under 18. Among those wounded were 39 women and 23 children. The ministry says 535 people have been discharged from the hospital after treatment. 36 remain hospitalized due to their injuries, and 21 Iranians were treated on the scene and released. There's Trump again, threatening war crimes. From this point forward, anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, what if they throw a rock? I guess that's a weapon, right? Sure it is. The United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran. Amazing. Amazing that they're letting them get away with this. I guess we don't have a Congress. They're a bunch of traitors. I think we've established that here now. Iran's IRGC says it launched a new wave of missile and drone strikes on U.S. bases in Jordan early this morning, claiming an F-15 hangar, an F-15 hangar was hit. 8 new MQ-9 drones were deployed before assembly. 2 more MQ-9s were heavily damaged, and 2 U.S. heavy lift helicopters sustained major damage. The IRGC also claimed U.S. personnel were killed and wounded in the strike. In a strike on troop housing. Jeez, man. Let's hope they're lying. Let's hope they're lying, but I got a sneaking suspicion they're not lying. IRGC went on to say the attacks were retaliation for renewed U.S. strikes on Iranian military and civilian sites, warning that if Washington continues, Iran is preparing an operation that would lead to a national day of public mourning in the United States. Iran strikes CIA facilities in the Gulf. Prompt questions about possible Russian role. Aardvark Times, can we believe them? I don't know. It's always good to, demonize Russia a little bit. We're bombing the hell out of Russia right now as well via proxy Ukraine. Iranian drone attacks on CIA facilities in the Gulf have prompted U.S. intelligence analysts to investigate whether Russia assists by providing targeting information or advanced drone technology, say for people familiar with U.S. intelligence. These people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss national security matters say U.S. intelligence officials have not yet reached firm conclusions about the possible Russian involvement in the attacks on CIA facilities, but they cite the strikes' effectiveness and apparent precision, as well as Russia's broader technical support for Iran as possible evidence. Reuters and other media have reported, and U.S. officials have acknowledged, that Russia has provided targeting and other support for Iran in its strikes on U.S. targets in the Gulf region generally, but the intelligence community's investigation of possible Russian involvement in supporting the CIA facility attacks has not been previously disclosed. At least 2 CIA sites were struck in March, according to Reuters. One of the facilities was the CIA station in Saudi Arabia, which is located in the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh. And a separate site was located in eastern Iraq. Some of the sources said additional CIA sites had been hit as well, but they did not list specifics. Wow. If that's true, damn, Iran's blowing up CIA sites. Khomeini advisor warns Iran has entered a new phase of deterrence. Ali Akbar, because that's a, that's the name you would have. Ali Akbar Velayati, senior advisor on international affairs in the Supreme Leader's office, said Iran entered a new phase of deterrence and warned that Washington is miscalculating the cost of striking Iran. It's this dude, just to put a face, and then we'll read the rest of the statement, to put a face on this dirty Iranian. It's that dude saying this. He went on to say, the idea of striking Iran cheaply is a mistake, one whose consequences could extend far beyond the military arena to energy markets and the global economy. As we continue to report, that's the point of this, is to create, and I think they've already created a global energy crisis, i.e. global famine. That's the point. He went on to say, the White House should understand that threatening Iran and mobilizing regional allies and the European lobby will not produce greater security or stability, but will instead make the consequences of its errors global. Iran's deputy foreign minister, Garhad Badi, this dude, he said, he warned European governments that allowing their territory or military bases to support U.S. attacks on Iran would make them parties to the aggression. Speaking to 25 European ambassadors and charges d'affaires in Tehran, he said Europe should defend the UN Charter and international law rather than follow the aggressor's power. He praised Spain for taking a, quote, principled position and said U.S.-led wars had produced no strategic gains while threatening regional and global security. Iranian Foreign Minister Argachai said, our defense doctrine is clear. Eye for an eye. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Any aggression against Iran, including our infrastructure, will compel a powerful and decisive response. Those who contribute to such aggression, whatever the kind of support, will also be considered as legitimate targets. And there's more statements, IRGC statements saying essentially the same thing. They're going to, you let U.S. attack from your country, you're going to be considered part of the aggression, essentially, here now. Iran said drones hit Bahrain's Sheikh Asa Air Base earlier today, targeting large equipment warehouses and sheds and the heavy aircraft maintenance and repair sheds. The site has been targeted multiple times in the past 10 days. Satellite imagery shows the impact and potential damage. Here's that. They're hitting our base there in Bahrain earlier today. The IRGC reported attacks earlier today, early this morning, on King Faisal base in Jordan, claiming to have damaged F-15 warplanes and MQ-9 drones, as well as 2 helicopters. I think we covered that. Here's the alleged satellite footage of that attack and destruction, saying they whacked the place. Not good. U.S. reportedly notifies Aardvark land of plans to intensify attacks on Iran. The U.S. has reportedly notified Aardvark land of impending plans to intensify military aggression against Iran, including heavy bombers into the ongoing campaign for the first time this year. According to Aardvark land public broadcaster CAN news agency, they revealed that the upcoming sorties are expected to target the Pickaxe Mountain site near Qom. Allegedly, that's where they're trying to build another nuke. Allegedly. The move follows repeated warnings from Trump over the past week, indicating that the site would face imminent bombardment. And it's looking like that's Aardvark intelligence that's just sending us on wild goose chases. According to Aardvark Times, military planners in Jerusalem are currently preparing for a potential Iranian counteroffensive. Authorities are taking precautions against prospective military launches directed at Aardvark land in retaliation for the expanded U.S. aggression. We're bombing them right now as we're live on the air. Again. We got a fact check. So back up here. We got a fact check from U.S. Central Command. Fact checking the IRGC here. Claimed today, IRGC Navy claimed that it controls exit and entry to Strait of Hormuz, suggesting that international mariners can only use routes the IRGC prefers. This is false. So that's right. America runs the Strait of Hormuz. Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. The international waterway remains open for transit, regardless of IRGC threats and attacks. What? It's open, but you might get shot in the face. You drive by that bad neighborhood. Commercial vessels continue to use the Strait of Hormuz with U.S. military support. Since May, American forces have helped more than 900 ships transit the strait. See that? We're helping. It's absurd. In the war now. This is absurd. And yeah, U.S. Central Command, they posted this at 3:04 my time, so an hour and a half ago. U.S. Central Command says at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time today, a few hours ago, U.S. forces began launching more strikes against Iranian military targets at the Commander-in-Chief's direction. The mission will continue to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten civilian mariners and commercial vessels transiting regional waters. So that's the excuse now, is we're police of the ocean and the Strait of Hormuz, specifically here now. So are we softening? Are we attempting to soften them up for a ground invasion? That may very well be part of this whole insane plan. Yeah, we covered that. Let's see. Yeah, Iranians, they build back pretty fast, build back better. They do. They already built, following the U.S. destruction of a bridge in Iran, Iran has already paved the riverbed to create an alternative crossing. There it is. They just built a road around there.
انشالله بمونه مسیر برگشت هم که به امید خدا تو فاصله فردا فکر کنم که اینجا باشه آسفالتش انجام بدم دوستان.
So we blew up their bridge a couple days ago. They just put a road right there. Old Ma'am Danny, the Democrat, socialist, communist, biggest threat that we have here in America, according to Trump and the fake and gay Republicans. Put out this video calling our shadow president Millet a war criminal. Trigger warning here now. And there was calls all over your Zionist media to go ahead and arrest old Ma'am Danny. Not Netanyahu for being an internationally wanted war criminal, but Ma'am Danny. And Ma'am Danny said, Trump said, you're not arresting him, bud. You know what I mean? So he's not going to arrest him. But red meat for his base, for sure. And he does have a reach, but nothing's going to come of it.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children, as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting of neonatal hospitals and maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave they offend all of humanity. Anyone, with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law. As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. While we cannot end the genocide on our own, we can decide whether our silence will become another weapon, and we can examine every tool we have to defend the humanity and dignity of all people. That is my commitment to you.
Dirty Ma'am Danny, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. But if he was a real tough guy, he'd go arrest him yourself personally. You know what I mean? You're mayor of New York, bud. Go handle business. Of course, that's not going to happen. On to Epstein reporting now. Another Epstein recruiter found dead in France. Sure, it's just a coincidence. Daniel Syed had been mentioned in the Epstein files more than 2,000 times. It's just a coincidence. Nothing to be concerned about. This dude right here, a Swedish French modeling scout who recruited women for Epstein and was tied to a German woman who disappeared 11 years ago, has been found dead in France. Tying up loose ends? Anybody? I'm sure it's just a coincidence. His cause of death in France is under investigation, according to AFP. He is dead and he is innocent, according to his lawyer. If he died of a heart attack, the unbearable waiting, the pressure, and the anxiety he suffered every day will have had something to do with it, his lawyer said. He was 69 years old. Maybe it was just people die 69. You know what I mean? Maybe it was a coincidence. He was 69 years old, and he's the latest death connected to Epstein. Huh. So he won't be around to tell any tales, that's for sure. All right. Malaysia's tycoon Saeed Mokhtar urged to revoke appointment of port chairman linked to Epstein. Civil society groups have called on Malaysian billionaire tycoon Saeed Mokhtar to revoke the appointment of Sultan Ahmed bin Sulaiman as executive chairman of logistics giant MMC Port Holdings due to alleged ties to late Epstein. Remember this dude? He was talking about he wants to get a bionic penis. He's talking about torturing victims in the Epstein emails. Yeah, probably keep this guy off your board. That would be a wise decision. Bill Gates' personal emails weren't part of Epstein review. So his foundation did an internal investigation, the Gates Foundation, and they investigated themselves and found no wrongdoing. But they did not review Bill Gates' emails with Epstein. I'm sure that there was no wrongdoing by the world's doctor, Bill Gates. He only met up with Epstein, 30 times? Sure, there's nothing to see there whatsoever. And yeah, the DOJ's continuing to cover up the Epstein files. The biggest cover up in American history. Ongoing. Let's hope that they don't confirm old Todd Blanche, Trump's personal attorney, to be Attorney General. Talk about a nightmare, but everything seems to be trending in the direction of tyranny here now and corruption, insane levels. So don't be surprised if Todd Blanche is confirmed, even as he's actively covering up the Epstein files. It would not surprise me. I'm sure it wouldn't surprise our audience out there either. The level of corruption is just otherworldly at this point. U.S. Secret Service official said threat level environment is the highest we've ever seen it. CNBC reports here now. A senior U.S. Secret Service official said the, quote, threat environment for the agency's protectees, who include Trump, is the highest we've ever seen. There have been about 10,000 cases involving threats to government officials, including Supreme Court justices, so far in 2026. I wonder why people are so upset. We're in the golden age, bro. That represents a 40% increase in such cases over the same period of time last year. Well, the government's naked in their corruption. Don't threaten these people. I'm telling you, don't threaten them. They want you to threaten them so they can throw the book at you or just come murder you. So don't do that. Don't threaten these government people. The briefing came ahead of Friday's rescheduled annual dinner. They're going to do this stupid thing again for the White House Correspondents Association at the Waldorf Astoria in Washington. Trump is set to attend. They're going to do another. I don't see how they possibly could. Who knows? Do another K-Fab, right? WWE style. Maybe. So they're putting out the warning, laying the groundwork here now for another potential hoax. Let's hope not. And let's definitely hope it's not real. Trump needs to be lawfully removed from office by the Congress per the Constitution. Violence against him is not going to help because you got J.D. Vance, Mr. Technocracy, is your vice president. Make no mistake about that. It's literally going to do jack. Here I'm saying, don't threaten the government. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a bill to restrict stock trading by members of Congress. It prohibits members of Congress, their spouses, and dependent children from purchasing new individual stocks and requires waiting periods and public notices prior to selling. But Trump is above the law. I don't see how he's going to get away with this, especially if once Democrats take back over. What a joke. The White House posts this. Disgraceful. 198 Democrats just voted against banning members of Congress from trading stocks while they're in office. They're corrupt. What? They're corrupt, so's Trump. They're all corrupt. It's the, what is it, the kettle calling the pot black, the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, they're all corrupt. The Small Business Administration says it's a party every day on Main Street under President Trump. Bro, we can't afford groceries out here. Like they're disconnected, man.
The party don't start till I walk in. Don't stop.
And I'll probably get copyright for that stupid song. Man. Oh yeah, it's wonderful. We can't afford groceries, bro. The inflation's insane. These people are beyond the pale criminal lunatics. Concerns grow over AI giants' hidden debts. We covered that yesterday. Tech stocks rebounded from a recent slump driven by fears of an AI bubble. You think? Although concerns are growing about industry giants off balance sheet debt. Covered that yesterday. It's they get little shell companies, and they're doing the circle jerk, passing around the debts, and they're parking it off their balance sheet in these shell companies. Supposedly it's illegal. It's all Enron style. Shares in chip makers, Samsung and TSMC in particular, saw big gains from comparative lows as investors bet that semiconductor demand would continue. Tech-heavy benchmarks in South Korea, Taiwan, and China all rose. According to Nikkei financial statements from Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and Oracle revealed hidden debt of $1.65 trillion, up eightfold in 4 years as they race to build data centers, all based on fraud. Though the firms expect future earnings to exceed those debts. Sure you do. The market has begun to show concern, you think? Morgan Stanley and Moody's both highlighted this as a major concern. You think? OpenAI appears to be missing its sales goals by a vast margin. They're liars, criminals, frauds. The massive gulf was observed in a new analysis from market consulting firm eMarketer, first flagged by Adweek, which found OpenAI with Sam Altman, whose sister said that he sexually abused her all throughout her childhood. He's an open homosexual. None of that has anything to do with their lying about their revenue, but it speaks to the character of the psychopath criminal liars. OpenAI is on pace to undershoot its own 5-year ad revenue projections by a whopping 90%. In fact, eMarketer's take is even more devastating than that. It estimates the entire addressable market for chatbot advertising, the maximum amount of money up for grabs overall, at $5.4 billion. Yeah, that's not going to fill out their revenue now, is it? To make them profitable. The figure isn't just bad news for OpenAI, but for every tech giant, all of which are jockeying for a piece of the AI pie. This year, eMarketer projects that the combination of OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon will bring in under $1 billion in ad revenue. For context, OpenAI had projected that its AI ad revenue alone would hit $2.5 billion by the end of this year. It's not sustainable. You can't sustain a business model on lies that are not even close to actual reality. Out of the California Post here now, there's a spinoff from the the New York Post. They say, shocking, 105 million Americans are not working, more than during the bad times or the Great Recession. Everything's wonderful. It's a golden age. Trump said so earlier today. And there you go. The number of adults who are not in the labor force surged to an all-time high in June to 105.8 million, according to figures released by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. The record comes after a massive surge of 832,000 workers dropping out of the workforce in June alone. The overall number of those not in the workforce is higher than at the height of the bat times and the Great Recession. Amazing. It's a golden age, bro. Here's SpaceX. We're going to Mars, bro. There you go. Crashing. Who could have seen this coming? I don't know. Anybody that has half a brain, but America does love to gamble now, don't they? So the stolen Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, had a court appearance today. And at his court appearance, his trial date was set for June 1st, 2027. So, yeah, awesome. The U.S. has collected about $13 billion of Venezuela's oil money. Where is it? Financial Times headline. They say Washington has given diverging accounts of where the earthquake-shattered country's funds are going. The Trump administration has collected more than $13 billion in revenues from Venezuela oil sales this year, according to Financial Times calculations, but has said almost nothing about what has happened to the money. The U.S. took control of Venezuela's oil exports and suspended some sanctions after kidnapping, I would say, President Nicolas Maduro in January and installing Vice President Delcy Rodriguez as leader. Oil reserves make up around a quarter of Venezuela's GDP, and the sanctions relief was expected to provide a major boost to the economy, which was in crisis even before last month's devastating earthquakes. Yeah, because America weaponized the dollar against them. So, yeah, they're in bad shape. But 6 months after the U.S. seized control of the funds, economists say the evidence of a recovery in Venezuela is relatively muted. A potential sign that the U.S. has not sent all the revenues back to Caracas. We stole all their gold, too. Remember that story. Washington has given diverging accounts. I like that, diverging accounts. So they're lying, right? Washington has given diverging accounts of what it is doing with the money. Well, it's for the poor kids, obviously, ranging from an executive order describing its own role as, quote, custodial, to President Donald Trump saying the U.S. was making a lot of money from Venezuelan oil. U.S. lawmakers from both parties are starting to pressure the Trump administration to explain where all the money's gone and what it is doing to prevent corruption around its allocation. They're laughing about it, is what they're doing. They're laughing about stealing all of Venezuela's money, oil, gold. Hell, we stole the president. Is there any more? There's more details about it. Yeah, that's a good question. Where's the money? Who cares, right? Don't be a panicking. Donald Trump Jr.'s investment firm posts staggering returns of 200%. Failing New York Times reports here, the fledgling firm run by the president's oldest son and his partner, Hamid Malik, has made investments in AI and defense technology that have tripled in value in just months. Well, he's just a genius investor. No, he's getting inside information, and they're front-running government contracts and government announcements, his father's announcements, and government policies they know are set to be implemented. It's a racketeering. They're insane criminals. They go over the details here. Just 2 years ago, 1789, that's a firm, managed a few $100 million and now oversees more than $3 billion. Its main investment fund generated returns of roughly 200% as of June 30th, according to a person familiar with the firm's performance. Pretty amazing there. Corruption in our face, man. In our face. They're profiteering hand over fist this Trump term. Kushner as well, right? Jared Kushner. The Trump sons. It's just next level corruption. Yeah, but don't you worry. We're in the golden age. Gas way up here now. I was talking to Fat Bob. We sent a couple messages earlier today. He said that in his area, I think he's in Florida, gas went up like 50 cents in the last week. Yeah, over here, we're just getting beat like so bad. California's killing us, killing the affordability crisis, as it's called. It's called Rockefeller oil oligarchs are price gouging on top of state taxes and regulation. California price for a gallon of gasoline, according to AAA, is $5.55. But the national average now is well above $4. $4.06 today, up 4 cents from yesterday. So, yeah, they're killing us with inflation. The price of transporting goods, obviously, is going to be passed on to the consumer. Trump's golden age economy is literally bankrupting everyone who's not an elite insider, part of the crime syndicate. Let's take a look now at Brown University, Watson School of International and Public Affairs, the total consumer cost burden of the Iran war. Was it Hegseth said like half of this yesterday? And I believe this is underreported. They're saying $72.4 billion now since the beginning of the Iran war on February 28, 2026. And you can see the per household cost burden spread across both gasoline and diesel is now up to $552.77. Wowzers, man. All right, let's take the live commercial break. We're at the top of the hour here. Give me the like, share, subscribe, push that notification button, please. We covered a whole lot of news in that first hour. Give me the like, share, subscribe. You know the routine out there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. Go to weaponizednews.com/shop. Get a holograph sticker over there. We have the white background sticker as well and the clear sticker. weaponizednews.com/shop. The link's in the description below this video. Go take a look over there. Patron the store. I would appreciate it. We have the stickers, of course. We have baseball caps, T-shirts, coffee mugs, shot glasses, as this show's known to induce heavy bouts of drinking, according to some listeners out there. Weaponizednews.com/shop. Go take a look. We take donations as well. Buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, Cash App links, all in the description below this video. Any which way you choose to support us is truly appreciated. Become a paid subscriber at Weaponized News Substack. I don't put anything behind a paywall. Everything's free. Show your support for independent reporting and analysis brought to you 5 days a week. Broadcasting live, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern Time. Weaponized News Substack channel. The link's in the description right down there. Everything's free there. You'll get, we're streaming live. You'll get the full show on Substack. You'll get a summary of the show. And you'll get links to almost everything we talk about for documentation and further research purposes. Go over there and become a paid subscriber and show your support for our efforts to inform you about what's going on here now in this insanity. It's looking like insanity here now. All right, friends. Thank you for bearing with me through that short commercial break. Give me the like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. weaponizednews.com/shop. Weaponized News Substack. All the links are in the description below this video. Thank you for your attention to that matter. Welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026 edition. We covered at the beginning. If you are just tuning in, Congress, the House of Representatives, passed the NDAA with Section 219, essentially merging our military with the Aardvark clan. Straight up treason. U.S. troops are coming home in boxes now at a more regular pace. Iran saying they whacked a bunch of our bases over there. They whacked a bunch of our troops, is what they're saying. We're bombing Iran right now. The AI bubble in the economy is this otherworldly levels of fraud. And that's where we're at. Not looking good. Prepare accordingly as they're turning the screws on the engineered energy crisis that will result in global famine. They're turning the screws on it right now. Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandab essentially closed. Or, hey, you better be brave driving through those rough neighborhoods because you got Iran, America, and Houthis all pointing guns at you every which different direction. You know what I mean? According to Kepler, shipping through the Strait of Hormuz fell sharply yesterday, July 21st, with just 9 verified vessels crossing, down 31% from the previous day, Monday. Traffic in Bab el-Mandeb into the Red Sea dropped 34% to just 29 crossings from roughly 44 the previous comparable day. 4 Saudi ships near the Gulf of Aden turned around following Nasrallah's threats against Saudi-linked shipping. Wowzers, man. It just gets worse every freaking day here now. Let's take a look again. We'll put it on the map so as to illustrate what we're talking about here. These 2 choke points there for 20 to 25% of global trade, especially petroleum and all the fertilizer, petroleum, the 2 big ones, and all these other different inputs that we've talked about. Here you go. So both sides now essentially shut down. Here you can see Yemen standing there with guns pointed due to a war with Saudi Arabia. And then over here, you got Iran with guns pointed and America with guns pointed. Yeah, have fun driving through the Strait of Hormuz there. So it's essentially shut down or very limited shipping, let's just say. Very limited shipping going through there now. Yemen closes the other gate. Yeah. They closed the other gate, as you can see right there. Shut. I think we covered that. They whacked the Houthis whacked a Saudi tanker. Here it is on fire. They blew it up. Things are escalating there between the Houthis and in Yemen and Saudi Arabia. Pakistan requests $10 billion U.S. stabilization fund following Iran mediation. They want to get paid. Pay me, bro. We helped you guys start a major war. Following its diplomatic mediation during the Iran war, Pakistan has requested a $10 billion exchange stabilization facility from the U.S. Treasury to bolster foreign reserves, protect its currency, and decrease resilience on restrictive IMF funding. Yeah, what the hell? Pay them $10 billion for helping start the war. They did a great job in mediating the peace talks between America and Iran. Sure. What the hell? Let's give Kushner $10 billion as well, and Witkoff, right? And what the hell? Throw another $10 billion in for friggin' Howard Lutnick. Why not? You know what I mean? It's just otherworldly levels of corruption. Okay, on to Russia, Ukraine. Let's pray for peace there. It's escalating there as well, and contributing to the global energy crisis as they're both blowing the hell out of each other, but especially Russia, right? Massive energy producer. Now many of their petroleum facilities taken off the line due to Ukrainian NATO America bombing campaign. Ukraine has appointed a new major general, their new chief of their armed forces, Major General Dar Pati. I know I'm screwing up his Ukrainian name, but here he is. So that's a new top commander there of the armed forces, commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And we talked about Syrsky got fired yesterday. Signal shift toward army reforms. They say here the class report. Oh man. Deaths in Ukraine now outnumber births by more than 4-1, with the worst ratios in frontline regions such as the Donetsk and the Kherson. Ukraine's demographic decline deepened in the first half of this year. Only 73,292 babies were born, 16% fewer than the same time frame last year, and nearly half the pre-war level. Well, 259,843 deaths were recorded, a 4% increase, and the first rise in 5 years, according to Open Data Bot. So yeah, it's going well. They're implementing the global depopulation agenda Ukraine is burning down the Russian Amazon. It's not only they hit, we covered it yesterday, but they're hitting more of these wild berry warehouses. Ukrainian long-range drones have hit 4 major wild berry warehouses. That's Russia's biggest online marketplace, often called the Russian Amazon, in this last week. Kiev frames the sites as logistics chains supplying sanctioned components for Russian drone production. Moscow and Wildberries call them ordinary commercial facilities with civilian workers. Around 8 killed and dozens injured across the first wave alone, plus more casualties in the southern strikes. Kim, the CEO, called it a terrible night and announced payouts to families of the dead. Sellers on the platform are panicking about inventory losses, especially since Wildberries updated its terms in earlier this month, to treat drone strikes as force majeure, excluding liability for lost products. Jeez. It's on you. It's on you if Ukraine blows up your products there in their wild berry warehouse. And they go through the 4 different sites here. Yeah. Analysts say losses could reach hundreds of billions of rubles. Not good, man. Not good. Here's a video of one of the most recent attacks here. The quite striking video of Ukraine attacking wild berries there in Russia, the Russian Amazon. Wowzers, man. Not good. Russia's pissed. Ukraine has requested an emergency UN Security Council meeting, accusing Russia of attacking civilian cargo ships and blocking Ukraine's Black Sea shipping corridor, disrupting grain exports during the peak harvest season. Kiev warns the disruption threatens global food supplies and could drive up prices, while Maersk, the shipping company, has suspended service to one Ukrainian port due to escalating attacks. Zelensky earlier today said Putin's inner circle is signaling to us and our partners that they understand Putin himself, the evil Putin, most evil man in the world, that Putin himself is the reason the war is not ending, and only Putin is responsible for the losses Russia is suffering. Dirty, evil Putin. Putin said, I want to stress it once again, the difficulties that are being created on the fuel market are unquestionably temporary and will not affect the general economic dynamics in Russia. He's trying to save face as well as we continue to report. They're suffering fuel shortages as the supply chain in petroleum production is getting blown up all over the place there in Russia, adding to the global energy crisis. Horrific. Let's pray for peace there in Russia. There's other genocides going on besides Gaza and Lebanon. At least 21 civilians were killed and 30 injured yesterday when a drone believed to belong to UAE-backed genocidal rapid support forces struck a water hub in the Tina locality of northern Darfur, according to the Sudan Tribune. And so that's ongoing there, in large part backed by UAE blood money, genociding all over Sudan and northern Darfur, tragically enough there. But nobody seems to notice or care because it's Africa, obviously. U.S. considers military action in Mali. Trump administration is deliberating military options in Mali against Al-Qaeda affiliate JNIM as White House weighs expanding armed operations while countering Russian influence in Sahel. So that's exciting. We'll start another war. The president of peace, Trump. It just never ends here, right? It never ends. They had a big ASEAN summit there. Little Marco in Southeast Asia. Little Marco Rubio was there, Secretary of State. He's saying, they keep saying, well, he says the future is Southeast Asia. Almost like we're in a new world order, in a new era, as we continue to report here at Weaponized News. There's little Marco saying the future is in Southeast Asia.
But I believe very much that the future and the story of the 21st century will be written in this region and by how events unfold here. And the security and prosperity of the United States and Southeast Asia will always depend on each other.
Trump posted this earlier today. Trump orders CENTCOM to open the gates of hell after U.S. troops killed, launches strikes on Iran. We're bombing them right now. They claim they're bombing us. I don't know why UK is getting scared. UK is temporarily withdrawn embassy staff from Iran due to escalating regional security risks after President Trump threatened to bomb Iranian infrastructure if Iran attacks ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The embassy will continue operating remotely. What? I don't even know what that means. How do you operate remotely an embassy? And the UK warned its citizens that consular assistance is severely limited and further travel disruptions are likely. I'd say, yeah, if you're UK or US, get the hell out of there, man. I would say get the hell out of there. They put out, State Department put out that warning for US travelers yesterday. Red alert, red alert. I guess they backed off a little bit good there in Lebanon, or we had a little bit less reporting, I guess, but they're still doing demolition campaigns, bombing the hell out of the place. Not stacking as many bodies, thankfully. But earlier today here, Aardvarkland occupation forces carrying out controlled demolition campaigns in southern Lebanon, as per usual, as per every day, during the alleged ceasefire. More images of Aardvarkland artillery shelling targets in southern Lebanon, the town of Hawla. Aardvarkland occupation forces have also carried out a bombing campaign in the town. That was good of them as well. You can see right here, leveling the joint. Yep. Literal scorched earth, right? Quite literally scorched earth policy. Systematically going about the controlled demolition of southern Lebanon. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawfal Salman, accompanied by the Lebanese defense minister, Min Assa, arrived in southern Lebanese village of Zatwar al-Garbaya on his first visit since the Aardvarkland withdrawal as part of the so-called, quote, pilot zone plan outlined in the unconstitutional Lebanon Aardvarkland framework agreement. During the visit, Salman planted a Lebanese flag in the ground as a symbolic assertion of sovereignty over the area. And the IDF laughed in his face and shot at him. No, I made that part up. They weren't that crazy, but I'm sure they did laugh. There's that symbolic gesture. Yeah, and the reports yesterday, Aardvarkland wasn't even occupying there. So, yeah, what an achievement. What an achievement in that fake ceasefire. Let's see. I didn't see many reports of stacking Lebanese bodies today, which is a very good thing, actually. Maybe we just missed some of that reporting with the ongoing. Yeah, we're bombing Iran actively right now. So that takes a little precedent, I think, over Lebanon. Yeah, it's ongoing disaster in southern Lebanon. I don't have any casualty numbers today, thankfully, out of Lebanon, but we do have a bunch of casualty numbers out of Gaza for you here now. Aardvarkland attacks killed 12 Palestinians and wounded 12 more over the past 24 hours, according to Gaza's health ministry. We showed you they whacked that whole family, right? Husband, wife, and 4 children yesterday. Wiped them all out. The recorded death toll since October 2023 reached 73,305 killed and 173,918 wounded, including 1,180 killed since October, since the ceasefire began. That there's not a ceasefire. Aardvarkland has killed more than 60 Palestinians in Gaza over the past week, pushing the death toll since the so-called ceasefire took effect in October of 2025, pushing the death toll up to 1,180. As we progress through the day, the death toll is rising. You can see here now. At least 127 Palestinians were killed in the first 3 weeks of July alone, while more than 3,800 have been wounded since the ceasefire began. Quite horrific there. The siege and ongoing systematic campaign against public health infrastructure, both in southern Lebanon and Gaza, are ongoing. Gaza's sewage system has been destroyed by Aardvarkland, forcing displaced families to dig 4 meters deep waste pits beside their tents to go ahead and relieve themselves. Hundreds of open sewage pits now surround tent camps, creating deadly hazards for children and breeding grounds for disease, insects, and rodents. Gaza City has completely collapsed. Aardvarkland has blocked any repairs for the last 9 months of the so-called ceasefire, forcing sewage to either be dumped into the sea or to pool among tents. And again, they're bombing refugees in tents who have no public health infrastructure. They have no sanitation system there. Aardvark Land firebombed a family home where children were sleeping. The latest killing spree there in Gaza. As the world focuses on the renewed U.S.-Iran war, Aardvark Land has killed nearly 60 Palestinians over the past week. Was the last? I think it was even, 60. That's consistent. So we're at 60 in the past week. The genocide continues, tragically enough, there. 2 Palestinian Christian athlete, Palestinian Christian athlete and U.S. citizen held without charge since June 2nd. Well, they deserve it, right? They're Palestinians, they're Americans and Christians. So I'm sure the Christian Zionists say that this woman deserves it to be held without charges. She's a Christian. Natalie Abdeya, 21-year-old Lutheran youth leader and member of Palestinian women's national soccer team, will remain in Aardvark Land prison until at least September 23rd after a military court hearing Wednesday, her church said. Surprised they don't whack her. We've reported on the horrific abuse these Palestinian prisoners suffer. Ben Gvir goes in there laughing, you know what I mean, about torturing them. We've covered that. So they're in administrative detention. No charges. Just you're bad Christian, Palestinian American. Amazing. Another picture of her there. Who knows what kind of torture they're doing to her. Hopefully none, but God only knows. So we'll have to follow her story and advocate for her release, obviously. Aardvark Land has begun digging moats to fill with crocodiles around prisons holding Palestinian prisoners. The intention, as expressed by the country's national security minister, Ben Gvir, is to elevate the level of terror felt by prisoners at the facility. Man, it doesn't get much more evil than old Ben Gvir, now does it? Aardvark Land digs. Here it is, mainstream Aardvark News, Ynet. Aardvark Land digs crocodile moats around prison wing holding October 7th Hamas terrorist. Authorities allocated 21 million shekels, or $6.3 million, for the pilot, despite unanimous wildlife authority opposition and warnings that the plan may require primary legislation. Excavation work began earlier today on moats intended to hold crocodiles around a high security wing of Ket Zayat prison in southern Aardvark Land, despite legal questions and strong objections from environmental and wildlife professionals. Ket Zayat prison is located within the Ramat Zegev Region Council, which sent an inspector to examine the work. The council official said the trench was being dug inside the prison around one of the special wings and would extend for about 170 meters. It cannot be seen from outside the prison, so they're creating their own little secret torture facility there. No one knows whether crocodiles will be placed there, but preparations are being made. The public security minister confirmed that construction had begun on channels designed for crocodiles. It's just completely and utterly insane. And I go through here more detailing about it, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they literally throw the prisoners in the moat there with crocodiles and just have them eat them. Seriously, they're that sadistic and vicious and evil. And the provocation of the Muslims at the Al-Aqsa Mosque continues. Palestinians warn of dangerous escalation as Aardvark Temple Mount organizations mobilize for largest Al-Aqsa Mosque raid to date. Extremist ultra-Zionist settler Temple Mount groups have intensified mobilization efforts for what they are calling the largest planned incursion into the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound on Thursday, tomorrow, right? On Thursday, July 23rd, while escalating their demands to be allowed to enter the site at the conclusion of the so-called, quote, sovereignty march tonight. It's going down right now. The Palestinian Ministry of Endorsements and Religious Affairs condemned the provocative calls by the so-called temple organizations to mobilize the largest possible storming of the Al-Aqsa Mosque tomorrow, coinciding, with Tish the Aardvark commemoration of the destruction of the first and second temples in Jerusalem. In a statement, the ministry stressed that these intensified calls and plans aimed at bringing more than 5,000 ultra-Zionist settlers into the mosque compound and imposing nighttime incursions constitute a dangerous escalation and a blatant attempt to alter the historical and legal status quo at Al-Aqsa Mosque. The ministry reiterated that Al-Aqsa Mosque, encompassing its entire 144 Duma area, is an exclusive Islamic holy site that is indivisible and not subject to any form of partnership, adding that attempts to impose new realities on the ground not grant Aardvark settlers, ultra-Zionists, any legitimacy. Of course, they have no legitimacy. They don't care. They're psychopaths. Holding Aardvark land occupation authorities fully responsible for the consequences of these provocations and for enabling extremist agendas, the ministry called on Palestinians and all those able to reach Al-Aqsa Mosque to maintain a presence within the courtyards to thwart these plans. It also urged the international community as well as Arab and Islamic countries to take urgent action to pressure Aardvark to halt violations targeting Islamic holy sites. But that's the whole point, though, right? They're trying to provoke them into making a move. Make a move, bro. Basically what they're doing, ultra-Zionist, Talmudic, satanic, dark occultist rituals there at the Muslims' third highest holy site, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Yeah, they're pissing them off to no end with these actions by the ultra-Zionist settler Temple Mount groups. It's not looking good today, friends, on this Wednesday. We're bombing Iran right now. They're claiming they're bombing our troops back in the region there, in West Asia region. It's quite horrific. Let's pray for peace. Let's go to I'm scared now, man, to go to the headlines. Latest headlines out of Iran International. U.S. conducts 12th consecutive strike. 12 straight days we've been bombing Iran here now. On Iran, as IRGC says, tanker hit mine in Strait of Hormuz. U.S. issues worldwide travel caution over Middle East tensions. 2 Chinese super tankers with Saudi crude head toward Bab el Mandab. Are Houthis going to shoot them? I don't know. That'll be interesting. I'll have to remember that for tomorrow. The death toll from reported U.S. strikes near Sal Chim border rises to 3. We're killing Iranians. Iran used Russia-enhanced Shahid drones in strikes on CIA sites, Reuters reports. IRGC channel reports explosions in Ahavaz. It's bad, man. It's real bad. Let's quickly here. I remembered, but I didn't do the search. For Iranian parliament, right? We wanted to take a look at that. We were talking about that yesterday. Some listeners were talking about that yesterday. I believe it was Huffman. Huffman was talking about that. Oh yeah, it's a giant pyramid. I'm sure nothing to do with Freemasons, secret societies, nothing like that. Let me search here real quick. Let's see here. Thank you for bearing with me here. As you know from watching the show, I have everything lined up here, but that I did not have. But it did just cross my mind that we need to cover that because we were talking about it yesterday. Okay, I'm searching for that image now. Back to Al Jazeera, latest headlines. U.S. bombs Iran as Houthis claim attacks on 2 Saudi oil tankers in Red Sea. We covered that. Yemen's Houthis under incredible pressure to act against Saudi Arabia. At least 11 wounded in deadly U.S. attack on Iran-Iraq border. U.S. missile attack hits near and Dimshek. I don't even know where these places are. I guess we better get a map and start figuring out where we're hitting there in Iran. U.S. strikes Bashir military site. Wowzers, man. Yeah, here it is. Let's see if we can get not good angles here. Let's see if I can get a good angle of it. Last time I looked it up, I went to you can kind of see it here. Still doesn't really do it justice. Last time I remember I was searching for it, I had to look up the, let's see what this does. I had to look up the architect of it, and then that gave me some really good images of it. But well, here's the one I got right now. It's still searching for better, but you can see the triangle, right? The pyramid. Check it out. Check it out right there. Parliament of Iran building. It's kind of hard to see at that angle. There's better images. I should have searched for it. Apologies. Here's a pretty good look at it. You can see right there. It's a triangle, but there's better images inside. Apologies for not having that up, but I will do some more searching and show you some good images from inside. Let me just search here quickly. Oh, here it is. Here's inside interior architecture. You can see right there. Oh, everything's fine. What? And there's even more. There's other images too. Like I said, I went through the architects. I went through the architects last time I searched. Obviously not live on the air with you guys here now, but I did find some very good images. So we'll take a look at that tomorrow and find some better images. But yeah, it is a pyramid essentially. There, the Iranian parliamentary building. I'm sure they're not all working together at the highest levels through secret societies to, I don't know, depopulate the world. Just saying. It's kind of the thing, right? It's the great work, as we're told. All right, friends, thank you for joining me on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. That's all I got. Let's pray for peace as things are escalating intensely now with Iran. Not good. And Russia, Ukraine, not good. Quite horrific. And U.S. troops are coming home in body bags, man, in caskets. It's a freaking disaster. It's a straight up disaster. We need to end the war now. Stop it. End the war now. And all signs and reports are saying it's only going to escalate. All right, over to the Odysee channel now. Over to the Odysee channel. Shout out to John. Oh no, it's Gillespie. We haven't seen you for a while. Oh no. Gurr. Shout out to Gurr Huffman. Let's see, the Hobot. The Hobot Nix might sue for copyright infringement. Let's see. Shout out to Fat Bob. You wrote your gas prices are ridiculous. They are. It's ridiculous. It's they're killing us, man. Support Weaponized News, and I'll send little Augie to give you a visit. Better money spent than in taxes. Well, thank you, Bob. Of course, taxation's theft. Never forget that. Never forget that. Here's some hope for the future from Fat Bob. He says people will be rounded up into 15-minute cities, hook or crook. Understand Iran war is now endless diversion away from the Epstein and Agent Rothschild. Fox News is definitely the MK Ultra level of control. Yeah, and Fat Bob was not happy with his local media, said they're lying to him over there, trying to talk up this BS economy. I hear you, man. I hear you. Fat Bob says, I asked Gronk about how Agenda 2030 was going. It said some things have changed, but are essentially delayed. Yeah, it feels like they're kind of behind schedule there. How is it Switzerland escaped Nazi terror? Because Hitler was a product of these nice Swiss global financiers. Of course he was. Those who comprise the Committee of 300, according to John Coleman in the early 2000s. Yep, I have that book. We played excerpts of his of him lecturing about it on the show. Yep. I agree with you 100% there, Fat Bob. Can I buy a crocodile? man. You brought your old friend Dalton to mind. I am drawing a blank on the first name now. He was a real ball of fire in the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee and chatting it up over there. Thank you everybody for tuning in on X, Kick, Facebook, Bitchute, Substack, Rumble, and YouTube. Let me head over to the Rumble and YouTubes. Shout out to MH, to Warlock. Iran is shooting at housing areas, and Trump is a war criminal. Let's see. Iran even said don't attack again, and they literally blew it up. Yeah. You believe the IRGC's rhetoric? Are you dumb? They said they bombed our aircraft carrier. Nobody believes this propaganda anymore, guys. You're wasting time. Hope you're getting paid to soy out. Old Snow in the comments there. Old Glory says, Snow, you calling people soy is so funny. Good job there, Snow. Thank you for that. Thank you for keeping it light in this heavy time of war. There's literally no difference between any of these politicians. They're all puppets that serve an ancient Babylonian death cult. Yep. Smarten up, or you're probably not going to survive the next year. Wow. Can't argue there. Trump stopped the tens of billions going to Ukraine. That's a list job of continuing Biden's war. Obama did with Russia against Ukraine when they took Crimea. Huh? Says delete it now, Snow. The goys know too much. That's what MH says. Oh man. Trump, a 5-time draft dodger, is a warmonger. Yeah. As long as he and his are out of danger. Yeah. Well, none of these politicians are going to go over there and lead the charge against Iran. Right? They'd have a different attitude if them and their families were on the front lines. While the bots are still trying to launder this war, Snow says, the point is to cause global crisis, depopulation, usher in technocracy. That's all this has ever been about. Yep. One world government, scientific dictatorship, i.e. technocracy. And our little region here will be the greater North America. Snow says Babylonian Talmudic cultists who worship an evil Sumerian storm god. Actually, oh, the good guys. Yeah, they're the good guys. We're told. Snow says it's not about left or right. That's always been a psyop. We're all working class. Yeah, we're all Joe Blows here. We all have the same interest. That shit is just there to divide people. Always has been. Yeah. Third way is the literal playbook of the masters of usury. MH said there. Some good comments. Very good comments. Thank you guys for the good comments. Divided States of America, indeed. And then they came, yeah, Trump's a bad guy. Wolf says, essentially, calling him all kind of, yeah, I don't disagree with you there, Wolf. Let's see. He's a PDF Nazi. MAGA's a fascist death cult. ICE is the new Gestapo. Miller is the new Joseph Goebbels. And RFK Jr. is the new Mengele. I don't know if I would take it that far, but about old Bobby Kennedy Jr. He's not a mad scientist doing the experiments. Is he? Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he is. Yeah, I don't know about that. We can't be saying that, Wolf. Sorry. They get all offended. Don't threaten don't threaten the government. I'm telling you, man. Don't threaten them. They're looking to throw the book at you for threatening them. Blast the paving. They're just gonna go pave it again, bro. Come on, man. Lock up pagan goblin soy baby mem Danny now. What? Not American. Ma'am Danny is right for once. Holy. Quran is a battle plan. Bro, the House just passed the NDAA with Section 219 in it, merging our military with Aardvark land. You think the Muslims are the problem? We can deal with the Muslims later, bro. We got immediate, clear and present danger, red alert in that NDAA. All right? Shout out to Pamela on the Rumble. Yeah, New York police commissioner's a big Zionist. They're gonna do jack to arrest Bibi or any of the rest of the war criminals. Technically, bat time was a bigger psyop. Yeah. Isu says only idiots vote red or blue, stupid bastards. Oh man. Thank you guys for chatting it up here. Let's see, Clifton. Shout out to Denver on the Rumble. Shout out to Zio. We'll start pumping oil. I'm telling you, they're price gouging the hell out of us. Let's see, Daniel, was Section 219 the one where our militaries are joined? It was. It is. It is. Matthew says Russia has lost many soldiers. Yeah, reported last week combined 2 million. That's between Ukraine and Russia. Russia's lost a lot, man. So is Ukraine. It's horrific and needs to stop. Excellent streaming. Great channel, JP says. Well, thank you for tuning in. Max says 219 swamp gators, 219 crocodiles. Yep. Shout out to Golden Tulip over there on the Rumble. They got the idea from Florida. Oh, for the alligator Alcatraz? Maybe. Or maybe these psychos just all think the same. They all go to the same psychopath meetings, right? Christ said, fear not, have faith. He's with you. Just got to believe and be protected from above. Your channel's great. I'm happy that I found it among all these shadow bannings, MH says. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I guess you push the hype or something. I don't know, but yeah, give me the share, man. Help me. I don't know if I'm shadow banned on X. You better believe that. I think everybody is. But we're actually doing okay for once on YouTube and Facebook, surprisingly enough, trying to, toe the line of community guidelines as to not be banned and not to be kicked off. You know what I'm saying? So thanks for tuning in, though, guys. We're trying to grow here and bring you some important information on a daily basis here now. And in this escalating world of a crisis here now. So hopefully some of this news and information is valuable to you, and you can help use it to make more informed decisions in your life, and be aware that it's pretty damn dangerous right now. Things are escalating. So just be aware and prepare now as best you can for coming calamity. All right, friends, as always, everybody do your own research, peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Wednesday evening, and we'll see you back here on Thursday for more Weaponized News. Hopefully we can get Ruckus ride shotgun. We'll have to see about that. Let's pray for peace. Have a great rest of your evening.